All right, so here we have Todd. And I know the first thing we talked about was that really long glide you have when you turn to breathe, when that right arm extends forward. So a glide in itself is fine as long as your momentum is strong enough to keep you moving forward without slowing down. If you glide and slow down with each glide, then it's just not working as well as you'd like. So I know immediately we fixed that. As you can see, when that arm's extending and you're really over rotating to turn to breathe to that right side, your left arm also crosses over substantially what you would call your center line. So those were the first two things we really addressed. Now your extensions, your arm extensions are really pretty good. You could say that when that left one extends, it's extending downward a little more than I would recommend. So extend forward, sort of parallel to the surface of the water. And you do that with both arms so that you can get the most catch out of your stroke. So here, before I give you any stroke comments, I said this 50 a little faster. So when you go a little faster, you're not gliding quite as much, and you're also not rotating, over-rotating as much. Both of those are good. So you're going to want to incorporate this sort of tempo, if you will, of swimming more into your normal stroke routine. I know the breathing was one thing we talked about as well. So if you get that all situated where you're exhaling as your face turns back into the water, immediately begin exhaling. You won't have to sort of fight to breathe in when you turn to breathe. So it's a very rhythmic breathe in when you turn, and then immediately start breathing out. So underwater, you can see nice extension. That left going a little deep. Your hips and legs do tend to sink a little bit. It's common with somebody with your body type. As your speed increases, it's much less of an issue. You'll have enough momentum that you'll stay on the surface of the water. In the interim, though, you could use a pull buoy so that you can really focus on your upper body stroke, work on technique. But what I'm seeing here underwater, you're basically doing what I call a straight arm pullback, where your arm extends forward, and then it's there's no real bend in the elbow, and by bend in the elbow I mean the hand and forearm go vertical relative to your upper arm, early vertical forearm, or a high elbow catch, meaning your elbow is going to be higher than your hand and forearm. And if you watch the underwater demonstration that's on this channel, the Powerstroke DVD sample, I'll show you exactly what we're talking about. So there, that left is, you know, a couple feet lower than I'd recommend. So really extend that forward, not down as much. And got some screenshots coming up. Excuse me. So good extension. And then you can see from where your body moved, that was a long, long glide. So too much glide there when you turn into breathe. Now the arm's coming down, but it's a straight arm pull. It's not terrible, but it could be better with the high elbow catch. All right, and your right arm, good extension again. Arm starts to pull. It's really just a straight arm pull, though. There's no angle in that elbow. So you want that elbow to pop upwards, shoulder rotates inwards. All right, and here's where we talked about just reducing the amount of glide that you have and less rotation when you turn to breathe. And this is significantly improved compared to where the first part of the video, provided that your oxygen level is relatively the same. If you can swim like this in your workouts and the races, you're going to be much faster. It's just a matter of getting everything lined up. And I think we must have talked about the catch there, because you started doing the catch as well. It's the same thing, just working on the catch. So this is working on trying to exhale throughout the whole stroke, and thinking a little bit about the rate of your turnover. Whereas that one that I just filmed was just thinking about a faster turnover. Alright, so this is working on the catch. Just trying to get a high elbow catch here. Pretty good. Still, your left is doing a pretty good job. Your right arm is still pretty much a straight arm pullback. So you can see how that left arm is really getting a good. So the elbow tilts up and the forearms tilt down. That's great. So you just got to get that working with your right. All right, and then one of the best drills you can do, one arm drill, really lets you focus on the technique. Very good. And you're doing it correctly here. When you pull, the hand doesn't necessarily break from the line of the forearm, but if it helps you to really get the catch going initially, that's fine to do. Ultimately, though, your hand and forearm from one line in your upper arm is a sort of separate angle. So it's good to start out with, but it gradually work towards hand and forearm sort of operating one line. All right, and you're not having a problem breathing here either. This is good, and I can see you exhaling. And for these, you can use a pull buoy. Well, this is good.